Good morning, everybody. Had a little bit of a technical hitch there. Sorry about that. And I think we're just about to be photobombed by a Jack Russell who's decided that no, she definitely doesn't want to stay and listen to me rabbiting on this morning. So thanks for that, Olive. That's really nice of you. Vote of confidence there from the dog. Hello and thank you for coming back. It's lovely to see you all, and hurrah, the fact you've come back is not a bad sign. Actually, it kind of suggests that we're kind of into this story writing business, and we're going to have connection trouble. So we're here in the writing room. Remember I talked to you last time about having your own little writing space, and that's the place where you go when you want to be doing some writing, and it helps get you in that zone, helps get you in that mood. So here we are again in the grotto. The lights are on, the tea is poured. Look at that, that's a bit of a topical mug, isn't it? Anyone else like the Moomins? That's a good mug, that one. Hello everybody, I can see all these lovely hellos coming up on the screen here. I joined, hurrah, thank you Little Bookshop. Marmite Moomin. Oh, this is lovely. Thank you guys so much. So what I asked you to bring along with you this morning was a pen. Look at that. Really classy. And a notebook, because what we're going to be doing this morning is a little bit of actual writing, which means that you might be seeing the top of my head quite a lot while I'm sitting here scribbling. And there will be periods where we're all just kind of quiet because we're going to be writing. Starry71, hello, my whole class is watching. Oh, hello. So this is lovely. Thank you very, very much for joining me. So we're going to get cracking. We are going to get started straight away. So pen, notebook, or bit of paper, whatever it is you're working from. I'm going to show you a picture. This is how this is going to work. And I'm going to ask you 5 questions about this picture. Okay. And let's see what answers you come up with. Now, you will know, those of you who've done little exercises like this before will know that actually all you're doing is using your imagination. So it's a way of just really quickly getting you to kind of get into creative mode. Okay, so now the picture is here on my laptop in front of me. And I'm literally just going to kind of show you, and bear in mind, we've got a little, so I'm still seeing all these lovely messages coming out. Shout for the small school, hello. Going to show you this picture. Okay. So there we go. There's the picture. So that is our picture this morning. Had to be dog related really, didn't it? We'll have a good old look at that picture. A very, very handsome chap. And I am going to ask you 5 questions about that picture. So first of all, what is the name of that dog in the picture? So that's what I want you to write down. Give me a name and write down the name of that dog. And I'm going to be scribbling away as we go. Okay, that's the first thing. The second question I want you to think about with this dog, I'm going to go quite quickly now, just to kind of keep our brains ticking over. What special talent does that dog have? What special talent does he have? Okay, here's your next question. Can you tell me one thing that dog is scared of? And the next question number 4. What has he eaten for breakfast? There's some great answers coming up here. And final question. What is he looking at in the picture? So he's I don't know about you, but if any of you've got a dog, they will know that they're not very likely to stand still like that for very long, are they? Especially at a time when, this is quite an old photograph. So, what was he? You'd have to stand still for quite a long time to get the kind of exposure right. So what is he looking at that's keeping him transfixed for that amount of time? Okay. Right, going to spin you back to me now. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. There we go. So, there's my scribbles. Look, they'll probably all look back to front. But I was scribbling away as you guys were doing that. And I've called him Mr. Bones. His special talent. And I noticed that one of you came up with this. That he can talk Spanish, and somebody else said that as well. What's he scared of? I said he's scared of roast potatoes, because I had a friend once whose dog, she dropped some roast potatoes when they were coming out of the oven, and her dog, who was actually a Labrador that looked a bit like this one, lunged for those roast potatoes and got a mouthful of really, really scalding hot roast potato, and had to go to the vet. So I've got him that he's scared of roast potatoes. What has he had for breakfast? He's had a squirrel, poor squirrel. And what's he looking at in the photograph? A roast potato. You've got some... Mr. Chesterley, I like that. Sir Chesterley. There's lovely, lovely answers. I'm watching them coming up the screen. His skill is drinking tea. Hi from Silverhill Primary. Hello, Silverhill. So, yeah, lovely, lovely answers, guys. Well done. That's brilliant. Now, what you've done there, just so you can kind of gather your breath for a minute, is all you've done is looked at a picture, an interesting picture that probably has a bit of a story behind it, to be honest, that I've just plucked from the internet. And I've given you 5 questions to answer. And using those questions, you've come up with a story for this character. Okay. We've been online now for, let's have a look what the time is now. We've been online for about 6-7 minutes. And already you've done a creative writing exercise. Okay, and you're using your brain, you're in creative mode, which is fabulous. And the way this stuff works, the way this kind of looking at pictures, because this is a little favourite of mine, this one, looking at pictures and setting yourself questions to answer, it tricks you into being creative and being creative very quickly because it breaks it all down. Okay, so well done. That's the first exercise for you this morning. Now you may decide that all that was just a little warm up, a bit like, if you were playing football or something. That's you doing it, stretching yourself off, whatever footballers do. Probably nothing like that at all. But it's just a little warm up. And actually, inside your brain somewhere is an even bigger and better story that you're bursting to write. Or you might decide, hey, I really like the idea of this dog who can speak Spanish or is scared of, I don't know, whatever, Frederick Ruff, that's even better name, well done. It's really, really up to you what you do with the stuff that we kind of create in these sessions. But it's all about digging around and seeing what's in here, really. Okay, so a main character is going to be the driving force of your story. They're going to be the absolute most important person on the page. And what happens to them and what they make happen is going to power your story along. So if I take, for instance, one of my stories and I think about Olive in Letters from the Lighthouse, I haven't actually got a copy of it here in front. I have got a copy of it up on the shelf. So just bear with me for a minute while I go and get my copy of Letters from the Lighthouse. Ooh. Right. There we go. Right, Letters from the Lighthouse. So this is my personal copy of Letters from the Lighthouse, and you can see all the little notes in it because they're little bits that I read or share with people. And so Olive in Letters from the Lighthouse actually is quite an interesting she was quite an interesting character to write because it's quite obvious what she wants. There's one thing that she wants more than anything, and that's to find out where Suki is. If you've read Letters from the Lighthouse, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about. But so her sister's gone missing and she wants to know what's happened to her. So that's a really big part of the story. So there's one thing that Olive wants. And that's usually the case in a lot of stories as well, that there's one thing your main character is after or trying to solve or trying to find for themselves. Now, it can be something physical, like a person or an object or a mystery they're trying to solve, which is kind of what Olive's doing as well. But it can be also something sort of personal, like they're trying to find their own sort of sense of worth or their own skill or their own kind of ability to do something. And that is also something that kind of Olive goes through as well. So she goes through this sort of physical, I need to find this thing or this person, but she also goes through a kind of emotional thing as well. So those are things to bear in mind when you're thinking about your character. What is it that they want? What is it that they are going to try and achieve or try and solve during the course of this story? And also, how's that going to change them? How are they going to sort of develop as a person? That's a lot to think about, you know, and that's actually why writing a story is usually something that happens in drafts. So you do a first draft where you think, right, okay, I'm going to have all the action, I'm going to have her doing this, I'm going to have her doing that. And then you have a second draft where it all sorts, you think a bit more and you add in much more detail. So that's Olive in Letters from Lighthouse. And those of you who know the story will also know that Olive's desire to find out what happened to Suki doesn't always go to plan. And that's another element of your story that you really need to be thinking about. It's like, what is it that gets in the way of them getting the thing they want? Because if she found Suki on page 10, then you've got a 10-page story, haven't you? So you need to actually make it difficult, make it a challenge. And in this book, the challenge is things like her mum doesn't tell her the truth. She goes to live, she thinks it's something to do with Queenie and goes to live with Queenie, and then Esther turns up, so she has to move out of Queenie's. So these little delays kind of, and then she's sort of expecting her sister to maybe, I'm going to give you some spoilers. I think I want to shut up actually now, and let's get on with the next thing. Right, okay, enough of Letters from a Lighthouse, but there you are. But that's an example. If you know that book, that's an example of what I'm talking about. Okay, right. So we're going to do a bit more writing now. So that's me just explaining to you about the importance of a main character. Now, what I want you to do next then is I want you now to be thinking about your main character, the character that you're going to be writing your story about. I'm going to have a little slurp of tea here because tea is very helpful for the old brain. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to again ask you now to do a little character profile. Now this time you're going to be using your imagination entirely. So this is entirely your creation. Okay, so you might have had a little bit of time to think about this already after last session. You might have gone away and thought, yeah, actually, we talked about this wild animal that was going to turn up. We talked about places that were important. I might have already got a few ideas whizzing around in my head. But what we're going to do today is actually really try and nail who our main character is. Now, the reason I'm asking you to do this as well is because if you remember last time in our session, I was saying to you, I'm writing a book and I've written, I think, how many words had I written? Let's have a look. I've got written down here, last time I spoke to you on Tuesday, I had done 3,142 words. Now, if I just show you the bottom of that document now, that's what the word count is now. So about 1,300 more words. Okay. Oh, that's more than I thought, actually. Now, you might be thinking, well, that ain't very much, is it? What's she been doing with this? Thanks. But actually, that isn't... A lot of those words won't make it into the final book. But what I need to do, and this is one of the reasons why we're doing this session today, is I need to know my character a little bit better. I feel that I'm sort of skirting around the issue of who she is and what she's up to and all the rest of it. So this little exercise I'm setting you now, I'm going to be doing too. Okay, so I'm going to give you, again, it's about questions. It's about questions that you are going to answer with your brain. Okay, so again, get your bit of paper or your notebook or whatever it is you're using, and I want you to think about the name of your character. Okay, so first it might be just the first name, it might be you might already have a whole name in your head of what that character is going to be like. Now I'm going to move across now and I'm going to be writing in my special notebook, my notebook, which is actually for this new story, ooh, because I need to do this. So you are actually watching me doing my job here, actually writing something that I need to do. And if I tip probably can't do it very well here, but if I try and hold my camera, forget that. That was an idea I had of you watching me writing, but I think that's actually not going to work because of our lovely Somerset internet connection. Okay, so character's name first of all. So I'm going to write down my character's name, and I want you to do the same for yours. Right, I want you to tell me what their age is. So I'm writing that as well. Next question, and these are quite random questions because it really helps you get to know your character. So 2 different outfits that your character wears. That you're going to see them in at some point in your story. So things that might be important to them or tell us something about who they are. Okay, and already I'm smiling because I just come up with an idea, and it's like, oh yeah, this is this is nice. This is kind of helping me an awful lot. Right, next thing, what is their favourite food? Okay, so what's their favourite food? Can you tell me the last time they cried about something? What was the last time? Some nice food suggestions coming up here. Yum, yum. What was the last time they cried? When was the last time they cried, and what was it about? Okay, right. Your next question and the final question is, they've got a secret that they haven't told anybody, but it's also it's got a quite big secret. It's something that maybe they know about that. Well, obviously they know about it because it's their secret, isn't it? Duh. Something that's going to come up later in the story, because that's another little lovely thing that helps you get a plot going. So, what is their secret? Ooh, that's a tough one, actually. So what is their secret? Right. Okay. How are we doing? I'm hoping we've got some answers here. Well done, guys. Thank you very much. So, I'm seeing quite a lot of your answers coming up on the screen, which is lovely. We've got some lovely ideas here. Well done. So my girl is called Rosa Fielding. She's age 12. She's got 2 different outfits. She's got a school uniform, and she's also got this tweed suit that she's been given to wear, which she really, really hates. to make her look like a kind of a country girl, the daughter of a country gentleman, and like a tweed skirt and a tweed jacket, and she really hates it because it's really itchy and really uncomfortable. Her favourite food is pineapple. She's had it once out of a tin, and thought it tasted amazing, but she's never had a real pineapple. She's homesick, and that's the last time she cried because she was homesick, and she started talking in when she's homesick and when she's tired, she starts talking in her kind of native language, and the people she's staying with tell her to stop because they don't want to hear her home language. So that's what she gets upset about. And her secret is that she can actually sing very, very well, but she refuses to sing with this family that she's living with because she doesn't like them very much, I suppose, at this point. This is it, you see, I don't know yet. I'm going to have to write it and find out. Okay. Right, so how are we doing for time? So I'm hoping that has given me a little bit of an idea of where I'm going with this story, with this character. I'm hoping that when I start writing Rosa in about 20 minutes after we finished, I might have a little bit more to say about her. So we're going to have one more creative writing exercise, and then I'm going to give you some ideas of things that you might go away and do. All right, so one of the things that often you get in stories is that an object turns up. An object turns up in the story that has a really big impact on your character. Okay, so we know about our character a little bit more now. We know about what their story might be, what their interests are. I mean, you can really go to town on this character profile business, and you can actually kind of think a little bit more about who they might be. So quite often in stories you get things like they discover a diary, or a letter arrives for them, or they find a photograph, or they read something in the paper. So some sort of information or some sort of object takes them on a path during the story. So that's the next thing I want us to think about, that some sort of object is going to turn up in your character's life and it's going to trigger things off for them. Okay, now this is this is an example of what I'm talking about here. Now what I'm showing you here, it says on the front of it, to Mr. Ezra Wilkinson. Now, those of you who've read Secrets of a Sun King will know that story starts with the arrival of a parcel on the doorstep of Lil's grandfather. So, and that triggers off all sorts of things because of what's in that parcel. And don't worry, I haven't got any body parts in this parcel, honestly. It's just a little prop that I use when I'm talking about Secrets of a Sun King. But what I want you to do next then, we're literally just going to have 2 minutes to do this, is I want you to imagine that a parcel turns up on your character's doorstep. And I want you to tell me what is in that parcel, and why is it a really important parcel? Because it's got to be something quite major. When you're thinking about this idea, it could be something completely random, but it could also be something that's to do with what your character wants, or what your character is trying to achieve, or what your character is scared of. Okay, so let's have just a minute or so just to write down what we think is going to be in the parcel that arrives with your character. Well, I'm scribbling away here. Got some great ideas coming up on the screen. A magic animal. Oh, wouldn't that be amazing? Okay. Right, so I'm looking at your answers here now. We've got things like a treasure map, a letter, a key to the secret door he found in his house. That is genius. A letter, her dog's old collar. Oh, that is so good. A necklace that shows her where her father is. Oh my goodness me, you guys. You see, your ideas are far better than mine. That's a lock of hair, yes. I don't know what monster principle is, but it sounds mind-boggling. Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. How nice. A story within a story. That is genius. Guys, well done. There's some really, really nice ideas coming through here, and you're really thinking about what might work in a story. So that is really encouraging. Well done. Good stuff. Okay, right, we're nearly at the end now. So let's have a little think about what you can go away and do. We've got about 3 minutes left. So what I would suggest you do, because your brains are obviously buzzing a bit, you know, you're thinking stuff that maybe 20 minutes ago you wouldn't have been thinking about. So this is a good sign. This is a sign to me that the old creativity cogs are swirling and you're digging deep into your imagination. So this is fabulous. So things you can do next to kind of take this idea of a character further. I've got a couple of ideas here of things you can do, and they're actually three things. And two of them are actually not to do with writing at all. They're actually to do with kind of visual stuff. So first thing, draw a plan of your character's bedroom and label it. So, you know, what have they got in their bedroom? What does it look like? That'll be really helpful. I'm going to do that myself in a minute, because it gives you a sense of their world and where they are and the things that they have in their sort of inner world that are really important to them. So draw a plan and label it of their bedroom. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is you can do, which is also a visual thing, is to find pictures that represent what your character's all about. So sometimes authors will find pictures that look like the characters, although that's not, you know, you don't have to. Some people don't like doing that at all. Or things that represent what they might wear, or pictures that might look like their house, or anything like that at all. Now, I do this on Pinterest. So I have a Pinterest board that I have for each of my books that I kind of gather pictures in. You might not have access to that. So what I'd suggest you do is maybe look through old magazines, or, you know, maybe you are going to be allowed to look on the internet at pictures that might kind of represent your characters. I don't know. But that's another nice thing to do. Just get lots of pictures that kind of start creating things in your head. Or help you kind of, you know, make those steps. So pictures are really helpful. So that's the second thing. And the third scene, if you want to get writing and you're kind of itching to go, which is great if you're feeling like that, write a scene where your character is having a meal. And again, you know, what your character eats is really important, because it tells us about what they like, what they don't like, tells us about their world, it tells us about what time frame you're talking about. You know, so them having a meal, write about them having a meal, okay? And there might be other people there, or there might be other people not there. Remember, we talked the other day about how sometimes it's important in a scene about who isn't there. And Letters from the Lighthouse is a good example of that. It's a book that's all about someone who's not there. Okay, so there we go. So there's three things you can be getting on with. And we're nearly at the end again. So, which leaves me just to say, thank you ever so much for joining me. Thank you ever so much for all your great ideas. They've been a joy to see coming up on the screen. A few random ones as well, but hey, we like a bit of random. And can I also just say that if you are on Instagram still, that if you go across to Lisa Thompson's channel, that was the other author I was talking to on Tuesday, she is now talking to Anjali Rav, who is the author of The Boy at the Back of the Class. Who is, and I'm going to go and watch that because she is going to be really, really interesting. So if you fancy a little bit more bookish fun, then go and have a look at that. We will be back on Tuesday. I'm going to be keeping doing these sessions until February half term. So every Tuesday, every Thursday, you're going to be helping me with my writing. I'm hopefully going to be helping you with yours. We're going to be doing this together. We're going to be egging each other on, because that's really, really helpful when you're writing, if you know other people are writing with you. This will be saved on IGTV. It will also be saved on YouTube, hopefully. My publishers are trying to do that because I'm not very good. And I will see you back here on Tuesday, where we're going to be talking about settings. So we're going to be talking about things like houses. Oh, I love books about houses and the natural world, you know, natural world where things might happen. So we're going to be talking about those things as well. So bring your pens, bring your notebooks. And the last thing I was just going to say to you, sorry, is we talked about writing dens, didn't we? Writing grottos on Tuesday. Please feel free to post your little pictures of where you're writing on Instagram. And if you hashtag it story hunting, or story hunters, I think we're calling ourselves, and tag me in as well. That would be really, really lovely to see. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And thank you for joining me. Take care and happy writing.